Hello all, in this video we'll talk about undoing things in Git. So before talking about undoing things, first we will see what are the major operations that we do in Git. So the major operations, if you see, you have a file, you modify it. When you modify it, it appears under working directory. In the working directory, it appears as a modified file. Later on, what you will do, you will stage that change. You will move the change from working directory to the staging area. That is the second major operation you will do in Git. And the third operation is you will move changes from staging area to the local repository database. So which is nothing but commit. So these are the three major operations that we normally do in the Git. Now, let's say there can be situations like this when you're working on a real world project. So, initially what I have done is I have committed a file, okay. So, but I have committed the file and I have given some commit message as well. But I forgot to add another file adding to the same commit. I missed adding another file to the commit. So, in that case, normally you will do a new commit and add the file, but I don't want that. I want some set of files should go in the same commit. So there can be situations like that where you give wrong commit message or you forgot to add the file, and even you modify files and those appears in the working directory, right? Sometimes you regret doing that. You did not want to modify the file, by mistake you have modified the file and Git is showing that you have modified the file. You don't want to do that. You want to revert back the change, or you have moved changes to the staging area but you don't want to move the staging changes to staging area. You want to revert back, you want to unstage those changes. So these undo operations can be performed in Git. There are few instructions to be followed to undo these things in the Git. First, let's talk about the commit. Okay, now we'll see a commit message. Like I committed some change, but the commit message I gave is wrong. So how can I modify the commit message? Okay, now let's see. If I run git status, if you see here hi.txt is modified. Let me commit this. So I can directly use -am, right? Because -a removes git add command, right? Because directly you can move changes to the staging area and commit it using this -a. Now I'll give some message modified contents in hi.txt file. So here instead of hi.txt, what I have given ht.txt file. Okay. Now I'll commit it. Let us see what had gone in the last commit. So you can use git log command to view the commit history, right? And I give -1 because I want to see only the latest commit. I'm not interested in the older commits. If you see here, modified contents in hi.txt file. But when I run git log command, what I observe here is, okay, this spelling mistake. It should have been hi.txt file, but I added ht.txt file. I want to modify this commit message. How can I do that? So we can do using amend command. So you can use normal git commit, but you can add this -amend and then I'll add the message here. So it's the same git commit command, but you are just adding -m. So what I'll do is I'll specify a new commit message, modified contents in hi.txt file. Okay. When I do this, it is committed. Let me run. Let me get the last two commits. So this is the older commit, and if you see the latest commit, you can see the difference of the message. Here you can see hd.txt file, and here you can see hi.txt file. So what it has done is what amend command does is it goes to the latest commit and then it changes this message. So basically what it does is it pushes away the older commit and then it adds the new commit, taking the changes present in this older commit and the changes that are present in this amend commit. So it behaves as if the older commit you have done doesn't exist. Even if you see hash here, this hash and this hash are different, but the changes present in this commit and in this commit exist in the git. So what git does is it takes the older commit changes and the changes that you have specified in the amend, and it combines both and creates a new commit, and it pushes away this commit. So this way what you can see, you see a single commit, like how you wanted the commit to be appear, it appears the same. Okay, that's how, like using this amend argument, you can change the message. Now what I wanted to do is, let's see what are the changes that were done in this hi.txt file. So let me run this git log -p. If you see, you can view the differences, right? So if I run this, hi.txt file is changed. Now, like in this commit along with hi.txt file, I wanted to add git ignore changes as well. Okay. Now what I'll do is, this dot git ignore changes, I wanted to add one more thing, hello.txt. This is the change I wanted to add in the last commit, but I missed doing that. I have modified only contents in the hi.txt and pushed that. I forgot to push my .gitignore file. Okay. Now what I'll do is, if I'll do git status, it shows git ignore file is modified. I'll commit this. So you remember, right? To add the changes to the older latest commit, you can have to use -amend. Now what I'll do is, added .gitignore file and modified. I'm changing message as well. I'm changing the commit message, and then I'm adding the .gitignore file also to the latest commit. Added .gitignore and hi.txt file. When I do this, two files changed and one insertion. Okay, ideally you have changed a single file, only .gitignore, not hi.txt file. But I said you, right, when you do amend, it removes the older commit and it takes the changes of the older commit and the new commit, and it creates a new commit. That's why it is showing two files changed and one insertion. Let me run git log -2. If you see here, you can see the older commit, it was removed, and it has created a new commit with this message and with the changes present in this one and the older one. In the older one, you have modified hi.txt file, and in this commit I have modified .gitignore file. Let us see the differences. Git log -p -1. If you see here, like in the older commit, you can see, right, hi.txt file was changed. This is what you have seen when you run git log -p previously. Now since I have added .gitignore, what it has done, it is showing .gitignore changes, and then it is showing this change as well. So basically it merged the changes in the both commits and it has created a new commit. So this way, if you forgot to add, like if you added a wrong commit message, or if you forgot to add a file, you can do this with the git commit amend argument. Okay, yeah. Now let us see one more thing. If I run git status now, my working directory is clean. Okay, now what I'll do is, I will add version .html file here to git ignore. If I run git status, it will show .gitignore is modified. Then I'll stage this change. Git add .gitignore. I'll stage this change. After staging the change, like let me run git status. So it is saying changes to be committed, modified. After staging the change, I remember, oh, I don't want my version.html to be present in .gitignore. I want my git to track version.html file, but by mistake I added to .gitignore. If I add my file to .gitignore, it will stop, like it starts tracking the change here, but I don't want git to track this change. So like by mistake you have done that. So this way, when you do these kind of mistakes, what you like, I want this change to I want this change to move back to the working directory. So here, now this is present in the staging area, right? You have to remove this change from staging area. Basically you have to unstage it. If you see git status, it shows you use git restore hyphen hyphen stage to unstage. Let us run this command. Git restore hyphen hyphen stage dot git ignore. When I do this, I'll run git status. So it moved back. So it unstaged this change and moved back the change to the working directory. Okay. Now let's say I don't want this change to be present in my working directory as well. So whatever the changes that are present in the last commit, or whatever the changes that are present in the staging area, I want to revert. So what I can do is, here if you see, it is showing use git restore file to discard changes in the working directory. So by mistake I have modified the .git ignore file. Now I don't want to modify it. I want to revert back my changes. Git restore dot git ignore. When you do this, I will run git status. So it is clean. Now let's see the change that is there. Here you don't see version.html file. So like if you do, like if you by mistake, if you have added few changes, and if those are present in working directory, or if those are pushed to the staging area, you can revert back those changes, or you can undo those changes using git restore command. So git restore hyphen hyphen stage is used to move, like used to move changes from staging area to working directory. Basically hyphen hyphen stage is used to unstage the changes, and git restore, just a plain git restore is used to move back changes from working directory. Okay. Now you have modified the file and it is present in the working directory, and you want to revert it to the older commit. Then in those cases you can just use git restore. So hyphen hyphen stage for staging directory undoes, and just git restore is for working directory undoes. Now let us see one more thing. In .git ignore, first I'll add this version.html. Okay, I'll stage this change. Git status, if I do, it is showing, and I'll add it to the staging area. When I do the staging area changes, it is showing changes to be committed. Now I'll add one more file, example.html. If I run git status, what it is showing? It is showing you have like there is a modified file in staging area and as well as in the working area. So staging area's change is version.html and working directory change is example.html. Now what I remember is, by me, like I don't want this example.html, but I want this version.html. So example.html change is present in working directory, this one, right? So I'll do restore. Here git restore dot git ignore. When I do this, what happens is only this working directory change is unstaged, like removed or reverted. So only this dot example dot html is reverted, but version dot html is still present. Okay. So this, like whenever you do git restore, what it does is it restores the state that is present in staging area or in the last commit. So let's say now here when you run git status, what happened here? You have a change that is present in staging area. Okay, like what it does, when I ran git restore here, it reverts the change that is present in the staging area, because a change is present in the staging area. Suppose you don't have any change present in the staging area and you have done git restore, then what it will do is it reverts to the last commit. Okay, now let me show that example. Like you would have understood, right? Whenever you run git restore, first it will see what is the state that is present in staging area. If there is a state that is present in staging area, it reverts back to the staging area. But if you don't see any change that is present in staging area, it restores to the last commit. Now this is the staging area change, right? Let me revert this as well. Git restore staged dot git ignore, and I'll remove this change from working directory as well. I don't see any change. Git status, if I do, I don't see anything here. My working directory is clean. If you see here, this is the change that went in the last commit. You can run using the git log -p-1. So hello.txt was added. Now by what I'll do is I'll add this version.html and example.html. When you do git status, it is present. Now what I'll do is I don't want this change. I'll restore it. Git restore dot git ignore. When you do this, I'll run git status. I'll go back and see. So both like version.html and example.html is removed. It reverted back to the previous commit. Okay. So what I mean here is, first whenever you run git restore to remove the changes that are made in the working directory, or this is not staged for the commit, right? Whenever you run git restore in this state, first it will go back, it will check the parent, what is the parent for the staging area. So it reverts back to the state that is present in staging area. So if there is no change that is present in staging area, it will go one level up. First level is staging area. What is the parent of staging area? Parent of staging area is commit. It restores the state that is present in the commit. So I'll just draw that and example. Okay. So initially you have this working directory, and this parent is staging area, and staging area's parent is commit or local repository. So when I'm in working directory, like a working directory to the local. So local means which you have made changes. Okay. Now in local I have made few changes, then it appears as a modified file in the working directory. Oh, working directory. Now when I run git restore here, what it does is it will go one level up and see if there is any change that is present in staging area for the file that I am restoring it. If there is a change that is present in staging area, it will take this staging area change and it will push it to, like it will push it to local. If you don't see any change in the staging area, it will go one more level up, and in the commit it will see the last commit change, and what it will do is it will restore that commit changes to the local. So this is what I wanted to explain here. Yeah, so we understood how to amend files or change message in the latest commit, and how to unstage changes that are present in staging area, and how to remove the changes that are present in the working directory, right? Using git commit amend command. This is to amend the changes to the latest commit, and git restore hyphen stage to remove changes from the staging area, and git restore is to remove changes from working directory. Thank